Namaskar, dear devotees and friends. This evening, instead of our regular study of the Panchama Veda, we shall discuss a life and teaching of a great spiritual personality of the 15th century India, particularly Bengal. Let us begin with this stotra. Srimad Chaitanya Deva Tvam Bande Gauranga Sundara Shachi Nandana Mam Trahi Yati Chudamane Prabho. The personality that we are going to discuss is a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And here the prayer is Srimad Chaitanya Deva Tvam Bande Gauranga Sundara. Gauranga means the one who is fair complexed and the beautiful, and I bow down and I worship you, O Chaitanya Deva, and you are the son of Shachi. Please save me. Yoti Chudamane. Yati means the sannyasi, Chuda means the head. So you are the head or the best among the sannyasins. So here praying that the mother's name we find over here, Shachi, her son is Gauranga, and again he is the Chaitanya and he is a sannyasi, like he is there, that is the prayer. Now there is something very special in the Hinduism. Particularly in the Sanatana Dharma in the India, we find there is never the dearth of spiritual personalities, very high spiritual personalities. If we find right from the Vedic age, the one after another, lot of the spiritual personalities are there. And in India, the country, and in the Mahabharata also it mentioned in a very nice way, beautifully, that in the Uttaram Himalayasya, in the north there is the Himalaya, the mountain, and in the south there is the ocean. And the air which is bearing the water goes and gets stuck in the Himalaya and give lot of rain. So the whole plateau, the whole land, India, that gets a lot of water. So obviously there was a lot of rivers also. You will find that all this, the Hindu scripture before the puja, they purify the water by telling the names of the 7 rivers. Gange cha, Yamuna chaiva, Godavari, Saraswati, Narmada, Sindhu, Kaveri. Yalismin Sannidham Guru, like that they say. So all the 7 rivers, and these 7 rivers, they are almost giving the watering the whole land, the very fertile land. And as because the food was easily available, and the people were very happy, they were healthy, and when you solve the problem of as they in Hindi they say, the roti, kapda, makan. Roti means the food, kapda means the clothings, and makan means the house. So when you solve this basic problem of your life, obviously where the mind will go? For higher culture. They started researching. By that way, a wonderful spiritual history developed. And that is called the Veda. Veda means the knowledge. Knowledge of nature, knowledge of all other things, and knowledge of oneself. When they examined the whole world, they were going on discovering so many things, one after another, and then finally, they were not satisfied. They turned their whole attention within themselves. We find it in the Upanishads and in the Vedas. that they are concentrating their mind, and then they came out with the truth that everything that we see in the outside is nothing but the consciousness. Though appear inert, this earth, this stone, this wood appear as inert, but actually they are also conscious. The consciousness is not manifesting there. That is the reason we call it the inert. But everything is made of consciousness. That is a great discovery. And the slowly, ordinary people, it was very difficult for them to understand this. So the duality developed. They started worshipping the God and this way. But every time they will be taking the mind to that oneness. And by that way, Vaishnavism developed. Mainly three. One is Vedanta, another is Tantra, and Vaishnavism. And this Vaishnavism, they are the worshippers of the Vishnu. And who is Vishnu? That is also Vishnu, the word meaning Vistareti Vishnu, one which is ever expanding. What does it mean? Ever expanding, can there be any form? No. But at the same time, without name and form, we, the ordinary people, cannot understand. Forget about concentration on that. So they gave a form, and that is the four-hand Vishnu, Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma. That means there is a love, and there is the work, and there is the circle, and all this symbolism. There's a beautiful form of the Vishnu. And they started thinking that from the Vishnu, from this power, whom we call Vishnu, a power is coming down to help the human being to proceed with the dharma, righteousness. So, avatara, conception of the avatara, they are not taking birth, they are coming down. They are taking the human form or sometimes other forms also to help the human being, particularly the human form. This avatar, avataran. And that is the reason here they say whenever there is the possibility that people are confused about the materialistic world and the spiritual world, this particular God, the Vishnu, is sending his power, and they are coming, taking a human form and guiding the human being to the right path of righteousness, the dharma. So, whenever there is the materialistic upsurge, which is the source of bondage and suffering, the providence will provide the spiritual support to humanity. So, that is the way it always happens. In the Bhagavad Gita also we find the support, yada yada hi dharmasya glani bhavati bharata. Whenever the dharma, the people, they forget about the righteousness. What is that? When they think that the material world is the real world, and they put their whole mind and soul to that, that is called the dharma glani. The dharma must be understanding the truth that we are not the body, we are the self. And then obviously we have nothing to do with this materialistic world. As long as our conception is there, we understand this world as real. So you have to stay over there, you have to continue over there, develop your experience, and from your experience slowly you will understand, you will develop the knowledge of oneness. So that is the whole of the religion. And here we find that whenever the majority of the people, they are doing it. From the 8th century we can say the Muslim invasion started. In the beginning they came like the preacher as a darvish, Sufi, fakir, and all this. This started coming. And there were writers also, and they started coming and understanding the nature of this, the land in India and their society, the human being and all that. Others also. So the Islam aggression and completely different conception of the Hindus. And then came the political upsurge, and this Islamic, the sultans, they started this coming. And in the 15th century, the whole of India almost, particularly the right from the Gujarat up down to Bengal, it was captured. A part of the southern India was not. So we can understand that the complete confusion. When the Muslim rulers came, Hindu rulers, they were vanquished. Not that they were not powerful, but unfortunately, the Buddhism, the Jainism, then the Brahmanism, and all these things, actually weakened the society. There was no proper leader, one leader. Particularly from Bengal, from Odisha, from Bihar, and from Assam, all these states, they went to Mahabharata war. They were very powerful soldiers. And afterwards also, we can find that the very strong that military base was there. And Shashanka is a very famous name. The Shashanka defeated the other, and he had a wonderful, powerful, very prosperous Bengal. If we are talking about the Bengal, the present day conception of India and in those days, it is completely different. Small the countries, the small states, they were independent but together in culture and religion. That is the uniqueness in India. There was no, even the Sri Krishna never wanted to have that type of conception that India will be under the rule of one king. No. Different kings are there in different places and different provinces, but they were united in religion and in culture. That is very, very special characteristics if we observe. So that was like that. And the Thakur's father, he was going to the south Rameshwaram, and he was going from Kamarpukur. Where is Kamarpukur and where is Rameshwaram? It's a long way, and he, in those days, they used to walk. Everywhere he was getting the places to stay, the food, how they used to talk. Though different languages, the dialects were there, but the people could exchange and they could understand each other. There was a common language also, particularly those who knew the Sanskrit. It was easy for them. Nowadays, like Hindi or the English, people can communicate anywhere they go. Similarly, the Sanskrit was the common lingua franca. They used to go and use that language. Thakur's father went to Rameshwaram and he came back. So these are the proofs. Whatever, we will be concentrating on the 15th century. That was that, and particularly Bengal. And the 15th century Bengal, that was ruled by the Muslims. And there are a lot many books are there and the discussions are there that some of the kings, they understood, Muslim sultans, they understood that unless and until we are having the support of the educated Hindus, we won't be able to maintain the administration. So though they were not actually supporting the Hinduism, but they were not disturbing the Hindus also, but some were disturbing. So as they go in politics and in sociology, we know the changes. It was going on. At the time when the Sri Chaitanya was born, the king was there and he was in between, not torturing, at the same time he was not supporting. The condition was like that. Another thing happened. The writers of the different the books, they are not very much, they can't say who actually issued this and who are the people they issued this type of the dictums, the order. that the Hindus should not cross the ocean. Before that, the whole East Bengal and the West Bengal, particularly the Bengal, that was the granary of India. They used to feed the whole India. Not only that the jute and the grains and the fruits and many other things they used to take to the Egypt, Sri Lanka, Egypt, and they were very good businessmen. They had their own ships. They used to go like that. And as because the business was thriving, all society people, there were boatmen, there were the soldiers, the guards, and so many. And we know that in the economy, each and every one having something and to earn. So some people, those who were having the knowledge, they were the accountants and the letter writers, and so many things were there. So the whole administration was there in the different categories. People were having their own life. Suddenly, some of the Brahmins, I am not very much clear why they issued this. In the name of religion, they said the Hindus should not cross the ocean. Even today, they say Kala Pani. Kala Pani means black water. The Hindus should not cross the black water. That weakened the whole society, particularly Bengal. The Bengal was earning a lot of money, the wealth, and because of that the people were happy, society was happy. Because of this, the business stopped. And we can imagine when the rich businessmen were not going out to sell their products, who will produce? Hundreds and thousands of people who were working in the fields and who were the boatmen, the guards, and all that type of people, they became all jobless. They became very poor. And naturally, the rulers at that time, who were Muslims, they took that opportunity and started converting them. And they thought that if I become a Muslim, that is the religion of the ruler, I will survive. I can give some food to my children. So the mass conversion began at that time. So sometimes some people unknowingly do a great harm. In this modern time, we find Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna beckoning his disciple Swami Vivekananda to go to America, crossing the ocean. The Brahmin again, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, and he is asking his disciple to cross the ocean to go to America. And after that was again supported by Ma Sharadamani Devi, and it was Swami Vivekananda whom we can say the first Indian who crossed the ocean without caring for that useless dictum that one should not cross the ocean. Before him, before Swami Vivekananda, many of the Indians, Hindus, they went to the Europe, Raja Ram Mohan Rai and all those. But it is said that they used to take along with them the Brahmin cook and the big pitchers of Ganga water. And these Brahmin cooks and other people, they used to come and they give that supporting the Raja that no, he has not eaten any foreigner's food or drink any foreigner's water. We were the cooks, we cooked for him, then only he was accepted in the society. And some used to do again the prayaschitta by feeding the Brahmins. It is Vivekananda, he never cared for that. And this is the way that once again the freedom came in that. So in the name of religion, these things happened, and that was happening in Bengal. The people en masse was getting converted into the other Islamic religion. Then again the avatar came, and that in this it came in that in the evening of full moon day and the Falgun, that was the 1407 Shakabd, and Gregorian calendar, the February 1486. He was born of Shachi Devi, a very pious lady, and the Jagannath Mishra of Nadia. And that was a very famous day. The people were celebrating. Now the question, sometimes we feel that the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu only brought the Vaishnavism. No, before him also Vaishnavism was there. But when he was born, his name they kept as Vishwambhar, the one who can protect the whole world and holding the whole world. Vishwambhara, that he is holding the Vishwa, the universe. As because he was born under a neem tree, the ladies who attended the mother, Shachi Devi, they started calling the new baby as Nimai because of the neem tree. And he was very fair in complexion, so they started calling him Gauranga. Gaura means the fair complexion, Anga, body. One who is the fair, having fair complexion. So Gauranga. And afterwards we know when he got the sannyasa, he got the name Chaitanya Bharati. So we can say the Vishwambhar and the Nimai and Gauranga and Chaitanya, and the people now call Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So these are the names he was having. He was also having his elder brother whose name was Vishwarupa. The Vishwarupa, he was a very, in education in those days they used to study the Sanskrit grammar and the philosophy and Nabba and they developed that also. And Vishwarupa afterwards, when they were planning to give him marriage, and he left the hearth and home and took sannyasa. The Nimai, they called him Nimai Pandit. He slowly grew up as a young man, and he also became a Pandit. Pandit means Sanskrit scholar. He started teaching and he started writing books, and this was going on. Then afterwards, he went to the East Bengal and to meet his the grandmother and grandfather. But when he came back, he found that his wife is dead because the snake bite. That was the first shock that the young man got, and he started thinking the life is so impermanent. I just left my young wife, and when I came back, I can't see her. She is dead. This type of thought started, and he became very lonely. Previously, the people saw him that he was a very lively young person, and he used to love to have the debates also on spiritual topics and the philosophy. But now slowly he started giving it up. The mother became again the concern. My son is behaving like that. He is not talking with people. He is living all alone. Again she requested him to marry, and because of her request, he married again. And the Vishnu Priya, she was the lady of great respect. She was married with Nimai. The Nimai then afterwards, as because he was obviously his mission was completely different. Not that he will be as a husband and a father, and he never came for that. So his mission was different. He left the hearth and home, took the sannyasa from Ishwar Puri, and became the Chaitanya Puri, Bharati. He took the what's called the mantra diksha, and afterwards sannyasa from Bharati, and then he became the Bharati. So this is the short biography, you can say. But the main contribution that we find of this person, he got the spiritual power. Friends, we all know in India, we believe that the all power, the intellectual and the physical and spiritual, all come from one source, whom we call God. And that is why we find in our mythology, even the bad people whom we call as Asuras, they are also, to get the power, they are meditating. So unless and until you withdraw your senses and concentrate on a particular object, you can never get the strength. You can go to gym, you can develop your some physical strength, you can have some that type of power, but this wonderful supernatural power, it is impossible unless and until you are meditating. That has been proved again and again in the life of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. Also we know that Sri Ramakrishna, and physically he was, his body was not muscular and all, but when he touched that there was a time, I am just mentioning about Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he used to go and worship Mother Kali, but his way of worship was completely different. The people, they were not understanding even how he is worshipping. He never went and sat and chanted the traditional way. In the beginning he used to do, then afterwards he changed that. He used to go and feed the mother, and he himself will be eating, offering the flower on his own head instead of giving it to the mother. So naturally people, they were thinking what the man is doing. This is a sacrilege, he should not be allowed to enter into the temple. So they called a wrestler who was also the doorkeeper over there in the Dakshinesha, and he was guarding the door, and he was asked not to allow Sri Ramakrishna to enter inside the temple. He is a muscular person, a very strong person, a wrestler. But Sri Ramakrishna, when he was going to the temple, he was in a different mood. He went to that particular door, but the wrestler asked him not to enter. He simply brushed him aside. With his left hand, he pushed him, and just imagine that heavy body, the strong man, he was thrown on the floor. Physically, it is impossible. How it happened? Because of the spiritual power. The moment he touched, and that man, and before everyone, he was lying on the floor. Sri Ramakrishna entered and started worshipping, completely oblivion, completely unconscious about the thing that he has done. So this is the way we can understand there is some power by which it comes. Now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he took the sannyas, and he lived nearly 48 years. Sri Ramakrishna passed in 50 and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 48 years. And they said 24 years he was a grihastha. And when he was 24 years young man, he took sannyas, and most of the time, almost 23 plus, he was in the Puri. Because the Bengal was under the Muslim rule and they were not very friendly. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the Orissa, which was under the Hindu king. So he was there for 24 long years. The half of his life was in Orissa and half of his life was in Bengal. And he developed a Bengal, the Vaishnavism. And we find that before him there were also the Vaishnavism were there. They're like the Ramanuja. That's called the devotional, the history of the devotional way of worshipping. That the Ramanuja was there in the 11th century. Nimbarka was in the 12th century. Madhvacharya again in the 12th century. And Vishnu Swami in the 14th century. So right from the 11th century up to 14th century, that these four great preachers of the Vaishnavism was there. And of course there was Nanak, there was Ramananda, there was Kabir, there was Vallabhacharya. All they were there to protect the Sanatana Dharma, but in their own way they were doing that. But in the history of the Vaishnavism, these are the four. And they say this is the only four that you have to have. There cannot be any other Vaishnavism. So some people, they do not accept the Gaudiya Vaishnavism. What is the difference? There is not much difference though, but the philosophically a little bit of explaining about the Creator, explaining about the creation and the relation about all this. The Ramanuja was in one way and the Madhva and another way there. So some people said that the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's that Gaudiya Vaishnavism is not as separate, but it is separate. It is a speciality that they gave complete the conception of love, the purity and love. So that is the way he developed. And he met one person that's called Nityananda, and he asked him, he was also an Abadhuta. Abadhuta, a conception, they are not sannyasins, they are not householders, they are beyond that and they can stay anywhere. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a very wonderful organizer also. So he took that person because he understood he will be a great organizer. So he took him, so Gaur Nitai, they always, the people, they will be quoting these two names, Gaur means the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Nityananda is a Nitai. At least as if they are two brothers, they were always together. The Gauranga, all the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu understood as a sannyasi, he cannot do anything. He was not supposed to. And particularly at that time, the society was not ready to take the sannyasins, that they are the organizer, organizing these and that. It was impossible. Even in the 19th century, when Swami Vivekananda started the organization, the Ramakrishna Mission, the whole India, the hierarchies of the monastic life, they never wanted to accept that. Now, you cannot work. The sannyasin are not supposed to work. It was Vivekananda's personality and his philosophy, and that entered into the Indian society. The sannyasins and giving the education or serving the people, feeding the poor, taking care of the orphans. It was not the job of the sannyasins. Vivekananda introduced it. That's a completely new. And there was lot of objections were there, but still now people have already accepted and slowly it is accepted everywhere. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he could not, because there is not much time in his hand. He knew that he will be only 24 years. So first thing he did, he discovered the Vrindavan with the help of his disciples. He had the ordinary people, very ordinary people, whom the so-called upper classes, they never wanted to talk to them, forget about touching and feeding. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted them because he understood major the group of Hinduism is going to become the Muslims. Because of this, the wrong casteism. Chatur varnam maya srishtam guna karma vibhagasha. In the Bhagavad Gita, in the Mahabharata also, there are so many places. Again and again it has been said, the God himself is telling that I have created these four classes according to their capacities, capabilities. And some people are intellectuals, they are Brahmins. Some are courageous, they will be Kshatriyas. Like that, Chatur Varnam Maya Srishtam, I have created. Guna, according to their qualities, capabilities. Karma, and whatever they will be able to do, not about by the birth. The father is Brahmin, his son is also Brahmin. No, it is not. So this is the misconception, and now in the society it is there. And the Hinduism is always criticized because of this, but in the beginning it was really good system, that there will be only four types of people are there in the society. Even today, four types of people: the businessmen and the politicians and the those who are intellectuals, and the labor force. These are the four. So that is the group that they divided. But whatever, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu understood, if I am not going to accept these people, the Hinduism will become very weak. They won't be able to stand. So he started embracing each and every one. That's in Bengali they call Kol Deva. Kol Deva means as if he is accepting, as a mother they take on the lap, so he is taking them on the lap with the motherly affection. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he developed the devotion, the bhakti in a completely different way. He was a Dashanami Sampradaya sannyasi, so obviously his conception was oneness. That is the Chaitanya, the concept, the consciousness. As in the Dashanami Sampradaya, they are all having that the Brahman, Brahma Shatya Jagad Mithya, that is the Brahman has to be, and Brahman is consciousness, all pervading. Even when we are talking about the Vishnu, that is also the all pervading. What can be all pervading? Consciousness. So this is the way the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also practiced. He realized, but he understood to protect the religion at this moment, we have to simplify it. He said, Nama. That you have to go on taking the Nam. Nam of what? God. Who is the God? Krishna. So they call Hari. The Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. The Krishna is the main God. So that was thrust on the people. Just do that. And that will be sufficient for your religion. You do not have to do anything else. Because it was impossible for the Hindus to construct the temples. Because the Muslims were ruling. They never liked it. They used to break. There were so many temples there that was broken by them. So obviously, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, it is not necessary now. Only keep the God inside your heart, enshrine the God, and love Him, first thing. Second, go on loving each other. Go on helping each other. So that is also essential. So the caste system he broke by, in a way, in love, each are same. So when you are singing and dancing, you will notice that not all the Vaishnavas are singing the Harinama. They don't. These are the four, the Ramanuja, Nimbarka, Madhva, Vishnu Swami, they don't do that. They have different type of the worships. But the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu introduced it for the ordinary people. And when you are dancing in the name of God together, and after that you are just sitting together, eating together, unity. Otherwise it was impossible to save the Sanatana Dharma. So this is the great contribution of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is the love. Achinta Veda Aveda, that is the philosophy he said. And he only wrote one small, that you should do like this. Apart from that, his main contribution was you should. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we find the wonderful way he is giving the instructions that you should earn a lot of money and then support the society. You must help the poor and you must help those who are trying to study the scripture and other knowledges. So because of that, a grihastha must earn a lot of money. The differentiation of the women and the lower caste, educated, uneducated, everything was gone because of the prema. And what is the prema? Radha. And who is Radha? The embodiment of the sattva guna. So you have to slowly become Radha. It's not the male or female. It is the man or woman. It is the quality. Sattva, Raja, Tama. These are the three. The qualities are there. But you have to overcome the Tama with the Raja. What is the Raja? Raja means determination. I am going to be pure. I am going to realize God. And I have to get up early morning. I have to bathe. I have to go and do this. And 24 hours I should take the name of God. So like that, the force, that is called Raja, that I have taken the decision that I will do it, that the Rajaguna. But that is for the good, not ego. I am going to be the servant of God. And one thing he taught, and that is the true spirituality, humbleness. The humbleness is the main trait of Chaitanya's teaching. You must be like the dust. You must be like the grasses. Trinadapi sunechena. And you must be like the humble, like the grasses. Let people say whatever they like to say, but you should be humble. See, he is unifying the whole society, and through that, he is giving them the strength and courage to stand in one body against the oppressors, the rulers. And secondly, he is not going to fight against the rulers, because he knew that people are not ready to fight against the powerful rulers. So unification, the rulers will understand, oh, I am not going to disturb them. Then there will be all the problems. So let not be there. So there was Kaivarta Vidraha in Bengal history. The Kaivarta means lower caste. They had a very good leader. They went against the Muslim kings. For a long period of time, they gave a lot of the trouble to the rulers in that way, the Kaivarta Vidraha. The rulers also understood that we are not going to disturb them. See, this is the way Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, though sitting in the Puri and far away from Bengal in Odisha, and it was in those days people used to only walk, or sometimes the cow drawn, the carriages were there. They were poor people, where they will get the horses. The cow drawn carriages, they used to go slowly, they used to go to Puri for maybe a month or 3 months. They will be walking to reach over there. So that was the condition. Even then, he had a very great influence on the Bengal. Every year, the Gaudiya Vaishnava Samaj, they used to go to visit him. And he kept the contact in that way. And through some of his disciples, particularly Nityananda, who had a great influence on the people, he used to keep touch with the people. And Nityananda, quoting Sri Chaitanya, he used to instruct the people how they should behave. So one should study, one should earn sufficient money, not only to keep his own family in a good shape, but at the same time, he should also support the society. This is the one. Secondly, he said that you should be united, and in the name of Hari, in the name of God, there should not be any differences. That's why very intelligently he organized that in one place there will be Nama Sankirtana, the Kirtana in the God's name, and along with the God's name there will be a reading from the Bhagavata. So they will also understand the different qualities of the God, the Krishna, that they are worshipping. And after that, whatever the food will be offered to God, each and every one will be sitting together, the Brahmin and the non-Brahmin, in the same line. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so famous and popular and successful. And some of the Brahmins, of course, they were protesting, they were not liking, and so-called the society people, and they never liked. And we find even in the 19th century when Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna was there, he had a great respect for the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He kept his photo, he used to go to his people. The Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna once was showing the picture of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he was telling, look at him and look at the other people. When they are singing the name of God in presence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how they are behaving. So divine way they are But the person whom Sri Ramakrishna was introducing, showing the picture means the painting, and that man suddenly told, "Oh, I know them. They are lower caste people." So that was another problem. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu unified the lower caste people so that the Hinduism can be saved, because otherwise in great number they were getting converted. So as I was discussing, because of the economical and social and political reason, the people were getting converted. It is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who saved. And there were some people, they were not liking him, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did a great job. Along with that, he gave the right directions. What is that? Love and faith. You must have to have the faith in the existence of God. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is to go to the temple, the people is to come and tell about the story. Of course, they fabricated, but unfortunately, there are some the writers writing about the Chaitanya Mahaprabhus and analyzing. They said some of his disciples and the followers, after the demise of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they separated because of the ego. Advaita Charya and Vasudeva Charya, they are all the great leaders in that movement, but as they were not sannyasins, that's why the religion should be that should be taught by the sannyasins, because sannyasins are not having the families. And when you don't have the family, you don't have the selfish motive. The ego that should crash. The sannyasa means the ego should be crashed. Samyak nyasa, completely. Samyak means complete. Nyasa means giving up. Completely giving up. What you are giving up? Your ego. And that is called sannyasa. Sannyasa means completely giving up. They are not supposed to do anything for a particular personal interest. So that's why when the sannyasins are carrying the religion, they can keep it original. And that is the Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. He developed two different kinds of devotees. One, the sannyasins, another, the householders. And if we notice among the householders, though they were the disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, but Suresh, many of you know the Suresh Babu and the Ram Babu and the Girish Chandra Ghosh, suppose they were the leaders after Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, it would have been completely devastating. Girish Ghosh was having his own idea. He will never listen to the others. Ramchandra Datta was thinking that he has understood Sri Ramakrishna properly. So he was going on giving the idea in completely different way. He was a predominantly Vaishnava, so his idea was completely different. So that is the reason Sri Ramakrishna, he developed a group of sannyasins under the leadership of Swami Vivekananda. And he called his the sannyasins and told Vivekananda, Narendranath is the leader. You must obey him. And they obeyed him. And when the Narendranath went to America and went back after the success, and he was saying that we should do this, we should do that, there were some debates and discussions were there, but they all followed in the line along with him. And now it is 125 years the Ramakrishna organization is going on and spreading all over the world. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he only took the help of some householders. So that was, I think, it is my own personal view, that was a mistake. He should have developed a group of sannyasins. He was having some very good sannyasins along with him, but he never asked them to organize in the way he asked Nityananda. That all the three, Vaishnavas were there, they were the sannyasins, and very strict sannyasa rules Chaitanya Mahaprabhu followed. But they didn't develop the sannyasa organization that way as the Ramakrishna Mission did. But whatever, this is the great impact of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His contribution not only in the spiritual world but in the political and social, we should be grateful to this great personality. His faith in the existence of God, unquestionable. He could see the Lord, and in the way he used to see, he used to forget whether it is an ocean or it is a road or wherever. He used to see the God, he used to talk to him. He completely transformed into that. And whoever used to go near him used to get the great the feeling of peace and happiness. He was the embodiment of love and faith. His love knew no bound. Whoever was good, whoever was trying to develop the spiritual life, he used to go and embrace. He traveled the southern portion of the India to understand, to see, to learn the Vaishnavism, because most of the Vaishnava schools developed over there. So he went over there. The Ramanuja, Madhva, he went and he wanted to learn. Then he developed his own philosophy, and he gave it to the people. But the main thing was, you should have faith in the existence of God, and the God who is residing in every being, you must love them, serve them. And you must be humble in your own life. The egoism will destroy you. So you must be humble. That was the main contribution of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Today, we are remembering him, and we know how much respect Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna was having to the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Even today, when the people, they see that the emotion of love that is manifesting, and I was thinking that I have a photograph over here of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I forgot to bring it. I wanted to show it to you. His figure, that when he was looking at the Arati, the evening Vesper was going on in the Jagannath Mahaprabhu, he used to keep his hand on the wall and he used to watch that. The one lady of low born, she came hurriedly, and she was not able to see that because of the people standing. That she then climbed on the shoulder of Mahaprabhu, and she was standing over there to watch the Arati of the Jagannatha. They say he stood like a stone and he never moved as long as she was watching. And afterwards, when she came in her senses, she understood that what mistake she has done. She climbed on his shoulder, standing over there, and she was thinking that's a stone, so somehow she climbed on that. It was the Mahaprabhu. Why he didn't disturb? Because she was so eager to see the Arati of the Jagannatha. A devotee, he wants to, or she wants to see the Mahaprabhu was so happy, and he blessed her, saying, "You are truly a lover of God. You are blessed." So this is the love. Anyone who is trying to realize God, the blessings of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always with him. The friends, instead of having the way, the life, etc., I think we should try to understand that there are a lot of books and there. We should try to understand the historical background, why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had to do like this, why he could not stay in Bengal. It was 24 years he was in the Odisha, and the Jagannath Mahaprabhu. He was a lover of the Jagannath Mahaprabhu, but at the same time he wanted to organize, and because of his Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, that spread it not only the Bengal, but also Odisha, Bihar and Assam, and whatever the protections that the Hindus they got, the Sanatana Panthis, Dharma was protected, it is because of his, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The great personality of the 15th century, we bow down at his feet and once again we pray, please protect us, Pahimam. Namaskar. Is there any question?
There are many questions. So DRVS Srinivas is asking a three-part question. First part is, any sloka of Sharada Ma to chant? First question.
There are. You know that Srinivas ji, there are a lot of the slokas are there of Sharada Ma, and I think I will put it in our website, and you can go to our website and can get that. Maybe within 2 or 3 days I will put it in the website, and I have chanted myself, for myself and also the people who like to follow me, that from the Monday to Sunday every morning what we do is we should chant. The Tuesday I chose for Ma Sarada, and you will find all the stotras. Thank you.
Second part, to increase faith, does affirmation or quotes given by Swami Vivekananda, should we read them regularly?
Of course, you know that this is called Swabdhaya. Unless and until you are reading the holy books and the inspirational quotes of the spiritual personalities like Swami Vivekananda and others, we won't get the inspiration within ourselves. So, to develop the faith in the existence of God, as because we can't see, we can't touch, we can't talk, so what is the source to develop the faith? The words of these realized souls. We should read. Thank you.
Third question, third part question, same, Srinivas. How to overcome self-doubt and increase faith in myself?
Oh, that is a good question. You know, go on telling yourself, if everyone can do, I too can do. Maybe they are a little bit more intelligent than me, they can do it in a short period of time. I may take little more time, but I will also be able to do. I will be successful. I have something which I can contribute to the human society. So that will give you the self-encouragement and the faith will come back. Thank you.
Vijay has a two-part question. How can I get over the fact that Europeans looted India for many years and made their countries richer? I don't even want to visit those countries even though it happened so many years ago. How to get away from this fact?
No, we cannot, because the history is history. So it always goes on in that way. You know that some people, they were taken as slaves to some of the countries, but now those slaves are now ruling that country. Now they have become the rulers of that particular place. How will you explain it? So history has its own way to go. We should not keep the hatred for those people. All are not bad, and a time comes and it goes on in this way. Now the people, they don't know, they are completely different. So hating them, I don't think has any cause is there. Of course, their ancestors, they did in this way, but that is a history only. Anyway, that is up to you. Thank you.
Vijay is asking the second question. Does Vaishnava believe that all souls are female and God is Purusha? Is it the same as Shaivites? Thank you.
It's some of the Vaishnavas, they are thinking in that way, but actually that the conception of the Radha conception, that one should develop love, the one-pointed love for Krishna as the Radha was having. In the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, we will find Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna explaining that Radha is not a Yoga Maya. Yoga Maya is the power of God, and the power of God is having three qualities, Sattva, Raja and Tama. But the Radha is having only Sattva, and that's why the tremendous love, one-pointed love in Radha. So Sri Ramakrishna also, like the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whose life we discussed today, also encouraged to become like the Radha, only loving God and not expecting anything in return. That is called prema. Thank you.
Akash Ravi, she has a three-part question. I again repeat my previous question. I asked if I have faith on Shiva, that whatever he is doing in my life is good, but does that mean that I should not pray for pure bhakti or darshan?
Akash, you have to choose your own path. If you have chosen the Lord Shiva as your ideal, then the Lord Shiva means the knowledge. And devotion to that particular knowledge, that you can, of course, you can do. So when we are choosing, and what is this? Actually, we are, according to our taste, aptitude, and likings, we choose one eye. That is the beauty of the Hinduism. There's so many options are there. It's not the only God or only goddess or only path. So many options are there. So if you choose Shiva, the Shiva is the knowledge. And what is that knowledge? That everything is nothing but the consciousness. And because of that knowledge, Shiva is ready to sacrifice everywhere. That the story that he drank the poison to save the world, look at that. That is called Shiva, who is ever ready to sacrifice for the betterment of others. And that is the love. When one loves that ideology and concentrate on that, imbibe that ideology, that is called Shiva worship. So you can always follow that.
She has two more questions. Like Sri Ramakrishna, faith on Ma Kali, he is to cry for bhakti darshan. If he has faith on Ma, then he can also do nothing because he has faith on her. However, his mother is doing in his life is good for him. Although he has faith, he also prays for pure darshan. As it, if I pray, but can I pray for pure darshan? Same question.
I think, of course, the faith that the mother is there, God is there, and God in the form of Mother Kali. Suppose you think in that way. And you pray, please reveal thyself in the form of Mother Kali. So, as Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna used to do, I like to see, I like to talk to you. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna many a times said in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna that if you are praying to that God, that I like to see you in this form of that form, and please reveal thyself in that particular form, the God will do that. If your prayer is genuine, you can see the mother like Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. Sure.
Paul is asking, I want to be added to your Google group. How can I proceed for the same?
So Paul, please write to us in your email. So our email is info@chicagovedanta.org. info@chicagovedanta dot organization org. If you write to us, then we will add your email in our Google group, and you will be receiving all our informations regularly.
Gaurav is asking, is it true that God carries all needs of a true devotee?
Of course, that is the conception that if you are truly depending on God, God will take care of you. But you have to be like a baby, not doing anything, depending only on the mother. That means you have to give up all your ego. And when you completely surrender to God, giving up your ego, the God will take care of you. And this is the assurances Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna has given. So it is true. Thank you.
Srinivas is asking, Ramakrishna Mission is a purely Hindu religious organization. Why foreign Ramakrishna missions place the picture of Lord Christ on the altar?
So this is the Hinduism means accepting all paths. You know that Ishavashyam idam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat. That is the basis of the Hinduism. Isha means that supreme being. He is covering each and everything of this universe. So, how can you say this is not good, this is not, we should not? The moment you do that, you are not a Hindu. You have the option in the Hinduism, you have the option to choose among so many gods and goddesses, any god or any goddess. But you have no right to say that others are not. Look at the life of our Lord Jesus. We don't support the Christianity the way they work. We accept the Jesus as a God incarnation because of his life, because of the way. And Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna himself, if we believe, he saw Lord Jesus. And Lord Jesus came and merged in his own person. That is the purity. He gave life for the love of people. But in his name, if some people are distorting and behaving in a different manner, we should not hate Jesus for that. The same way the Lord Buddha also, a man of knowledge. But the people, they are utilizing him in a different way, that doesn't matter. But if you see the teachings of Lord Buddha, if you look at his tapasya, the way he practiced, oh, it's so unique. Yahashane shashutu me shariram tagasti mamsham. Like that he is telling, I should sit and meditate till I realize God. Shall we not get the inspiration from Lord Buddha? Because some people are telling they are Buddhist. We don't accept their way, but we love Buddha. We don't accept Christianity, Churchianity, but we love Jesus. Try to understand that. That is the unique way of the Ramakrishna mission. Thank you.
Swarup is asking, was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inspired by Ramanuja more than anyone else?
No, that is, of course he went and studied, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they were before Chaitanya, so obviously the influence were there, and he developed his own school. As I was discussing, he developed Radha, concept of Radha, which is a pure love. And when you are, that's all prema. I never entered into that philosophy, it was not the time, but the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu developed the prema. That prema should be completely surrendering to God, and for that you have to give up the ego. So that should be the main. The moment you give up the ego, what remains? God only. So that is the way Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught. Thank you. So let us say Shanti 3 times and we conclude. Om Shanti, 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat.